Hello students, welcome to first year in our college. You are in the first year of Bcom. This is a welcome opportunity for all of us to study at, at this level. I welcome you all the students who have gone through your education. You have passed your 12th exam. Now you are in higher education. Now, higher education is about taking the first degree. It's about to launch your career to the next level. After completion of your graduation, you will be said to have achieved the learning objectives that are expected at this level. You should have certain qualities, and these qualities that we need to understand. So, what are these qualities? Of course, you are called as graduate one. You should be with the store of knowledge. You should be taking your own decisions at your own level. You should be more careful about the task at hand, the responsibilities at hand. You are working as a responsible citizen. You will mind your behavior, you will mind your language, and that is what we need, a very cultured citizen of this college. See, as we have seen, oh, the whatever subjects that you have gone through, the next level of your understanding is to launch your further studies, and it is about in tune with the business communication. So, we are going to study this. You might have listened to my earlier video, okay? Or if not, you can go through the video. You will come to know that that communication is the prerequisite at this level. Certainly, we are going through a very difficult phase of our life and at the same time in the history. Since the world is facing with the corona pandemic, the the pandemic conditions have worsened day by day. We have seen lots of deaths, and so many people are deeply affected by this pandemic. Irrespective of all that, the the first and foremost thing that we need as a responsible citizen of the country is to think about the welfare of ourselves and at the same time to care for others also. And that is what our government is making very sincere efforts. Our government is working in this direction, and now we should, as a responsible citizen, we should also take care of that. Always put on mask, use sanitizer, and keep social distancing. And that is what is very much required in a way we are moving around. Of course, this is a virtual meeting. All our business transactions, educational transactions are cast in virtual mode. Online teaching is going on, online transactions are going on, and that is what we have seen the boom of the internet services. So we don't have to panic in these conditions. Suppose if we are happens to come in contact with some of such persons, You can also go through them, inquire about them, but you should not discard them. You should not ignore them. That you have to take care of. So, business communication is the topic that I'm going to teach you. Let me give you some details about myself as you're a new student to our college. See, this is my designation and this is my qualification. I am working in our college, as you know, our college name. And now I have now enough 12 years of teaching experience. Now it has gone. These are my interest areas. Communication, what does it mean by communication? We will go through this. It has emerged as a very good and important concept in the today's world. In each and every advertisement that is published in the newspaper, you will come to know that communication skill is required. Whether it's in English, whether it's in Marathi, you should be a good communicator. English is, of course, will cast you, boom you, and take you into the different realms of knowledge. And that is what communication has emerged as a very good concept, an important concept in the modern changing world. In the present context, of course, communication is very important. The, the contemporary context, as we know, is a technologically innovated, technologically advanced context. We have the boom in internet services, smartphones. The small computer is in our hand. We can use this computer, we can use any part of the world, we can reach any part of the world in the present context. So, communication has taken a too much of advanced stage. So it has taken certainly years and years to achieve at this stage. But whatever, you had to think, what does it mean by communication? See, in the historic era, as we know, man used to live in caves in the mountains. He used to make a certain cries, certain signals, the fire, the smoke, okay, certain yelling sounds, cries. Definitely, these were the early sounds that man used to make, and these sounds do have their inherent meaning. These meanings that we see are carried forward, and these sounds carried some kind of a meaning, and that meaning we know have taken a socio-cultural context, a shape, and that shape has caused the certain cries do have certain meaning. So it's a common say platform on which the sounds are interpreted. So communication is all about making sounds and to interpret them. There are very good communicators, as I told you. See, Charlie Chaplin is very good communicator. I would like to show you a movie, or you can go through on YouTube and see the movie. There is not a single dialogue that has been uttered, but instead of it, Charlie Chaplin is very good communicator because without speaking, all his non-verbal body language, hands movements, the facial expressions, the small mustache, all he is using to communicate with the audience. So Charlie Chaplin's movies are excellent examples of communication. Take an example of a newly born kid, newly born, just born. It makes cries. and it is nothing other but it's a first communication of the baby with the world around him, around it. So the kid speaks in its cries. And that is what we have seen. The Charlie Chaplin, Harsha Bhogle, as you see, the example is a supreme example. Harsha Bhogle is an engineer by profession, by education, but he is a great cricket commentator. Why? Because he speaks so fluently. His speaking, his utterance of sounds, and his English is so fluent. His knowledge of cricket is so fluent that he gave up the career as an engineer and pursued his career as a cricket commentator that you may see on the television. So Harsha Bhogle is the great communicator that we often give the example of these personalities in communication. In the earlier era, man used to make certain markings on a piece of, say, uh, wood, certain markings on a piece of cloth, and that was used to communicate. So, what does it mean by communication? Communication is just to share, just to communicate. So, communication, the word has been derived from Latin word communicare, and it stands for to make common, to share, to transit, or to impart. The Oxford English Dictionary has defined communication as the action of conveying or exchanging information and ideas. So, communis or communicare stands for sharing, to make it common, to share, to transmit, to impart, to transmit to the other person what my ideas, information, knowledge, opinions, and what I wish to share with others. So, it's a kind of a communication that goes on. So, to transit, to impart, and aptly, very aptly, Oxford English Dictionary has said action of conveying and exchanging information and ideas. Next is we go through some of the examples that are mm, given by some of the communication subject related experts. Peter Little is is a professor of communication. He was a researcher. And he defined that communication is the process by which the information is transmitted between individuals, organizations, so that an understanding response results. So, Peter Little is a very good example in the communication process. Okay, and all that we see here. So, Peter Little is of the view that communication is the process. It's a process, and by this process, the information is transmitted from one speaker to the listener between two individuals. There are more than one individual is required, or organizations, and by this communication, the understanding response means whatever communication I made, the other person understands and gives the response. So the by exchange of ideas, information, both of the persons share the information and ideas, and they are able to understand them. See, William Newman, Charles Summer is an see both of them defined is communication is an exchange of facts, ideas, opinions, and emotions of two and more persons. So Again, there are some common things in both definitions, and these definitions will tell us that exchange of facts, ideas, opinions, emotions by two or more persons. So, like this, we have these so called, say, things that we see. So, common things are also explained here. It is again, if we go through to to the definition that is taking us very much closer to the the business communication. So communication is a process by which involves the transmission, accurate replication of ideas ensured by feedback for the purpose of eliciting actions which will accomplish organizational goals. So William Scott, who defined that business communication is a process. And this process involves transmission from one side, accurate replication from the other side of ideas. The replication is ensured by feedback, means there is yes, understood, not understood is positive. Means some kind of a feedback is given for the purpose of eliciting actions. Means by this response, we can have some kind of a actions, eliciting actions. Means these communication makes us to act, and which will these actions will accomplish the organizational goals. So like this we have these features, okay. See, and these features that we see the continued in all those definitions that we have studied in the earlier slides. So we need to go through the what are the common features that are reflected in all these so-called communication. So by this we know whatever explanation that I did, definitions what this stands for. One more thing is very important is the sender's ability to transmit. Means there should be a speaker. The speaker should be able to produce the sounds, information. The speaker should be able to send the message that will carry the message. So his ability to transmit the the communication, okay. At the same time there should be a replicant, means there should be a person who listens to the communication and gives the feedback response. So response is one of the um, feature that we have already seen in the definitions. So receiver's mental status stands for his readiness, his curiosity to listen to the speaker. At the same time, the listener should be able to interpret accurately, and whatever understanding he has formed, he gives the response out of this readiness. So, receiver's mental status. Then we have feedback. See, feedback is also one of the feature that we see. So whatever response that is given replicant in any language, in any form, is called as feedback. And all these are eliciting actions. All these feedback, okay, all this feedback are expected to drive the persons for the actions. So all these are that we see are here. See, so like this, we have this process. So in what way the communication takes place? So communication takes place. It's a process, as I told you, that is the center. The center should be there. Center is an individual or any person. The concept is formulated in the speaker's brain, mind. The speaker, as per the concept, as per the ideas and meaning that he wished to express. The concept is formulated in the speaker's brain. It is in disorganized form. It is organized through the sentence. And using linguistic ability or in any form, if I wish to communicate through the oral, say, communication, if I'm making my topic that you can understand, I am using language. I'm speaking, I'm using language. So this language is said to be the media. Language is a media. So I put my message in the language form. It stands for message is encoded in the language. Message is encoded in the language. So language is the media, and I encoded my information, concept, meaning, message, knowledge, whatever. So this media carries the message. See, the message, the media, the language, the use of sentences, the use of words are carrying message, and the message is transmitted in this way. There should be a receiver. If I'm using language and I am uttering sounds, making video lecture, there should be receiver, there should be listener, okay? Or there should be audience who listen to and who watch my videos on YouTube or on the WhatsApp group. So whatever communication I am making here, there should be a receiver. And receiver receives the message. Receiver gets the message passed on to him using the using his own pre-existent linguistic ability, the words and understanding that the receiver has formed in his brain. He tries to understand the uttered language. उच्चारलेली भाषा जी स्पीकरने वापरलेली आहे त्या भाषेमधून जो अर्थ त्याने सांगितलेला आहे, बोलणाऱ्या व्यक्तीचा सांगितलेला अर्थ त्याच्या भाषेमधून ऐकत असताना आपण समजून घेण्याचा प्रयत्न करतो. And it stands for decoding. It stands for decoding. So it's a decoding process. So when it goes on through like this, it is called as decoding process. So as a student of communication, we must know the receiver should be alert. He should pay careful attention to the speaker. बोलणाऱ्या व्यक्तीचं काय म्हणणं आहे, काय सांगायचंय आपल्याला, त्याकडे बारकाईने लक्ष देऊन ऐकलं पाहिजे, समजून घेतलं पाहिजे आणि जास्तीत जास्त लक्षात ठेवण्याचा प्रयत्न केला पाहिजे. And at the same time, the receiver or the listener should decode understanding झाल्यानंतर, yes, I got it. तुम्ही सांगितलेलं मला समजलं. सो फीडबॅक हा वापस बोलणाऱ्या व्यक्तीला पोहोचवला पाहिजे. जोपर्यंत तुम्ही आम्हाला समजा सांगत नाही की येस दिस टॉपिक अंडरस्टूड बाय अस, आम्हाला हा सगळा टॉपिक आम्हाला समजलेला आहे, चा रिस्पॉन्स येत नाही, तोपर्यंत मला खात्री नाही माझा मेसेज पोहोचला की नाही. आणि म्हणून ही जी प्रोसेस आहे हा फीडबॅक वर अवलंबून असते. आणि म्हणून अशा वेळेस तुम्ही वर्गामध्ये जर उत्तर प्रश्न विचारला की तुम्हाला समजलं का, यू रिस्पॉन्स येस ऑर नो. तुम्ही येस किंवा नो, पण तो फीडबॅक आहे का तुम्हाला काय समजलंय काय नाही समजलं. सो फीडबॅक इज व्हेरी इम्पॉर्टंट फॉर द सेंडर to know his message is communicated or not. If the feedback is given, then and thereafter the entire communication is said to have been completed. So you give the feedback. मग तुम्ही जेव्हा yes no बोलतात तेव्हा तुम्ही बोलणारे झालेले असतात, तुम्ही सेंडर असतात मेसेज, आणि जो अगोदर बोलणारा होता तो इकडे रिसिव्हर झालेला आपल्याला पाहायला मिळतो. ओके, हिअर सी रिसिव्हर. सो अगेन तुम्ही येस बोलतात, भाषेचा वापर करता, मीडिया वापरतात, भाषा एन्कोडिंग करतात, त्याच्यात मेसेज असतो, मेसेज मधून तो पुढे येतो, रिसिव्हर डिकोडिंगची प्रोसेस करत असतो, आणि पुन्हा बोलणारा व्यक्ती सुरू करतो, बोलतो. मग असं कम्युनिकेशन थांबून थांबून एकमेकांना आपण कम्युनिकेट करत असतो. अँड इट इज नथिंग अदर बट द एंटायर प्रोसेस ऑफ कम्युनिकेशन. So it stands for the communication process. But there is one more point that is missing here. That is always there when we are speaking, we are communicating. In any form, it's noise. If in any means, if I am speaking, if we are having discussion in the classroom, the other sound that is straight, the cars, the bikes, other members who are making sounds is a noise. If we are using TV broadcast or if we are watching this video on the internet, but there are other sounds that are around that makes you difficult to listen carefully, to understand carefully. So that is a noise. If internet is not working, the video is buffering and buffering, it's a noise. It interrupts your listening, it's noise. So all these features that we see are reflected in the communication process. See, so what are the elements of communication? But this we will stop here. Okay, so there is one more uh, the point that I wish to say is the element of communication. First one is sender. The second one is message. The sender should communicate, use message to communicate. He encodes his understood meaning in the language form, in picture form, in drawings, in making sounds, in say हातवारे करणं असेल, gestures असतील, facial expressions असेल, body language. Charlie Chaplin's body language has never utters any sound, but just the music goes on playing. But it's a communication that is happening around. So the message is encoded. Medium. What medium that has been used? Receiver. There should be a receiver. Receiver should be able to interpret them, and it takes it decoding process, then noise. So we have to think about noise. These are the elements of communication and feedback. So we have feedback, and with this feedback, we know that communication takes place. Communication is complete in itself with the help of feedback. So feedback is very important because without feedback, the sender cannot be confirmed, the understood meaning cannot be confirmed, the receiver is not confirmed, he is not ready, he has not received anything. So all these first stage of communication gets confirmed with the use of feedback. So feedback is very much important in the communication process, and that is what we have seen, that this is the communication process. Okay, see, so as we have seen, we have to think about that communication has definitely grown into a vast abyss. It is definitely we are making such a progress. There is no such a progress is made in any other technique, but in only the communication technique, this advancement has taken place. Advancement have taken place since we are reaching to the far end of the universe. We are trying to reach out to the Mars and other planets. So it is in this development that human being is making such a huge progress. It's so simple, but to stay at home, it's so simple to stay at home and just use this technology. But there is years of years research and study that has resulted in using this sophisticated technique at your home. And by this technique, definitely we are having such a video lectures, and our education has not stopped. It's it's going on continuously. We are having a very positive outlook from the government, from the educational department, and we are making every efforts to get in touch with education, be in touch in education through books and through online teaching with your teachers. So in due course of time, you will listen to more such a videos and that you will find them. Thank you. See you in next video lecture.